Hello student, myself Dr. Asavari Asre, Professor and HOD in Department of Organa at Anantrao Kandse Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Alpat. Today we are going to learn the cardinal principle, and from cardinal principle the last and not least very important theory of chronic diseases or theory of chronic miasm. Let us learn the definition of chronic disease. Chronic diseases are those which are originated from chronic miasms, which when left to themselves and unchecked by the employment of those remedies that are specific for them, always go on increasing and growing worse in spite of the best diet and regimen, torment the patient to the end of his life. Yes, it is a definition of chronic disease. The chronic diseases which are originated from chronic miasm. The reference of this definition is the aphorism number 78 from 6th edition of Organon of Medicine. Let us learn the actual aphorism of 78 from Organon of Medicine. Hahnemann told you that the true natural chronic diseases are those that arise from a chronic miasm, which when left to themselves and unchecked by the employment of those remedies that are specific for them, always go on increasing and growing worse, notwithstanding the best mental and corporeal regimen, and torment the patient to the end of his life with ever aggravated suffering. These, excepting those produced by medical malpractice, which explained in aphorism number 74, are the most numerous and greatest scourges in the human race, for the most robust constitution, the best regulated mode of living, and the most vigorous energy of the vital force are insufficient for their eradication. Yes, let us try to understand the what do you mean by true natural chronic diseases? The true natural chronic diseases which arise from the chronic miasm. Yes, from the root cause of the chronic diseases is the chronic miasm, and since beginning the chronic miasms are chronic in nature because these are developed from chronic miasm, as well as the responsible cause is the maintaining cause, isn't it? Whenever they left to themselves, that means whenever these are not checked by the proper anti-miasmatic remedy and unchecked by the employment of those remedies that are specific to them, always go on increasing and growing worse. Just without the proper homeopathic anti-miasmatic treatment, these chronic diseases go on worse. That is, there is a very slow and imperceptible, very gradual progress of the disease along with the life of organism. Notwithstanding, in spite of the best mental and corporeal regimen, once there is a onset of the disease which is very slow and imperceptible, and after that initiation, if we employ the best regulated mode of mental and corporeal regimen, that is a good diet and all other exercise, physical exercise, etc. are there, but this miasm or this chronic disease is not removed or annihilated, while it torment the patient to the end of his life with ever aggravated suffering. Then, in spite of the best regulated mode of life, this chronic disease is not removed and it goes on increasing until the end of his life and ends with the life of organism. These except in those produced by the medical malpractice, which aphorism number 74. That is in aphorism number 74, you know already the artificial chronic diseases given by Dr. Hahnemann, explained by Dr. Hahnemann, and these true natural chronic diseases are the very differ from this artificial chronic disease, and the n number of persons are get suffer from the most of the diseases are artificial chronic disease, and next number is the true natural chronic diseases are the most numerous greatest causes of the human race. It is responsible for the too much assault on the human race, for the most robust constitution, the best regulated mode of living, and the most vigorous energy of the vital force are insufficient for their eradication. Yes, this very best regulated mode of living, or the very robust constitution, or vigorous energy of vital force, these are all insufficient for the eradication of this chronic disease, isn't it? And only the answer is, or only the anti-miasmatic homeopathic remedies are able to remove this disease from the organism. Let us learn the characteristic feature of chronic disease. Chronic diseases have slow and imperceptible beginning. Imperceptible beginning means the beginning is very much slow and without any perception. Patient doesn't have any knowledge how he get disease, isn't it? While in acute disease the onset is sudden, and previously a person was in a healthy state and immediately he is in a disease state, and therefore the cause is very much obvious for the onset of the acute disease. While in chronic disease the maintaining cause is there, and with the beginning is very slow and imperceptible, very imperceptible beginning, and patient doesn't have a knowledge how he get this disease. And gradual onset, slow and gradual progress along with the life of organism. Yes, the very gradual progress as the age of the person get increase or patient get increase, the disease go on increasing, because unfortunately the patient doesn't receive the anti-miasmatic treatment. If fortunately the person got this proper homeopathic constitutional anti-miasmatic treatment, then the progress of the disease would be stop here at that point, and there is no further development of the chronic disease, and patient may save from the consequences of the development of the chronic miasm. But most of the time patient received the allopathic suppressive treatment, and we trigger the development or of the progress of the chronic disease. And this chronic disease derails the living organism in their own peculiar manner, resulting in gradual deviation of health. Yes, this own peculiar manner means according to there are different physical and mental constitution of the patient, and the different patient have their different diathesis, different patient have their different miasmatic pattern, and therefore this maintaining of the causa occasionalis, so you can say the maintaining cause which is responsible for the development of the chronic disease, the development is very peculiar in different individual, isn't it? They dirige the living organism in their peculiar manner, and this which miasm is, and this whether the underlying miasm is psora, psychosis or syphilis, or whether the psora get unite with the syphilis and psychosis, a very peculiar manner they develop in the organism. There may be unlimited life, long suffering. There may be unlimited lifelong suffering with further derangement till the living organism is fully destroyed. Yes, during the course of development of the disease, very pathological changes are there, and as patient received the suppressive treatment, it transferred to the irreversible changes, and at last organism is fully destroyed. Then chronic disease end with the life of organism. Yes, if it is not treated properly, then it ends with the life of organism. The chronic diseases are caused by the chronic miasm, psora, syphilis and psychosis. Chronic diseases are further classified into diseases with fully developed symptoms and diseases with few developed symptoms. Yes, this chronic theory of the chronic disease or the theory of chronic miasm is this did not prevailing during the days of Dr. Hahnemann, and he was also ignored from this theory of chronic miasm. But it is after practicing 30 years, Hahnemann realized that some patients are relapses with the course of the symptom, and that's why he was very much astonished that in spite of the good medical treatment, good homeopathic treatment, why there is a relapses of the symptom. Then after discovery of law of similia in 1790, he practiced according to the law, isn't it, and got very excellent result in various type of patient, and his practice was very much flourished. He proved a number of medicine and he practiced with all these medicine excellently. After 30 years homeopathic practice, Dr. Hahnemann realized that homeopathy was very effectual in acute diseases. Yes, Hahnemann got very excellent result in case of acute diseases. The cure is very prompt, and radically these acute diseases are removed and get cured, while failed to execute a real cure in some cases. While he observed that in many cases symptoms got ameliorated for a brief period only. In some case the relief is very much transient and remain for some time, and they tending to relapse after some time. If there is a relapses of a symptom, whether the symptoms are same, the reappearance of the symptom is there, or many times the symptom totally change their form. Apart from best homeopathic treatment, the chronic cases would return after a certain interval or some special condition, such as error of diet, poor hygienic condition, unfavorable weather, cold, wet and stormy weather, and mental emotion, etc., and which cause to exacerbate the original disease condition. The return was generally attended with the appearance of new symptoms, often more troublesome and more difficult to remove than before. As the patient, whenever the patient visited to the Hahnemann for the first time, and suppose he prescribed some XYZ remedy to the patient, and whenever the patient, and this because of this result of the XYZ remedy, patient got very excellent result, isn't it? But because of some exciting cause, that there is again relapses of the complaint, and there is an exacerbation of the original disease, and this patient again visited to Dr. Hahnemann. Hahnemann, according to the symptom similarity, he again prescribed the some XYZ medicine, but for the next time or the second time, this medicine which was worked excellently, now it is not able to affect so excellently as before, isn't it? And after using the same remedy for 2-3 times, there is no effect of that same remedy to the patient, and patient remain with their suffering. And this because of this event, he was very desperate and very much hopeless and very much disappointed because of the relapsing course of symptom. Imagine the desperation and hopelessness Hahnemann experienced over the disappointing outcome of chronic disease treated on the basis of his original theory of similia similibus curantur. He was very astonished that as in case of acute disease the cure is very prompt, and why it is not in case of chronic disease, why there is relapsing course of the symptom in case of chronic diseases, why the cure is not permanent, isn't it, as it is a motto of the homeopathy. He quoted that, listen this word, it is the original word of Dr. Hahnemann. Hahnemann told that their beginning was promising, that is excellent, and the continuation less favorable, that the same remedy whenever prescribed in continuation which act less favorable and the outcome hopeless, and if it is used more than 3-4 times then it is totally, there is no effect, it is totally hopeless. And this type of result which he get in spite of the best selection of the best homeopathic remedy, he was very much disappointed. Hahnemann confesses homeopathy failed to bring a real cure in above mentioned diseases. Yes, he himself confessed that he was so much honest person, very kind hearted, and he himself realized the ineffectivity of the homeopathic medicine in case of chronic disease in order to achieve the real cure, and he confessed same. He progressively disturbed by the relapsing course of events. He observed that in spite of best homeopathic treatment, it was extremely difficult to effect permanent restoration of health, to effect real cure, the mission of his life. Yes, in first aphorism, Hahnemann mentioned the mission of physician, isn't it? And the mission of the physician is to cure the patient. And he mentioned the ideal of cure in second aphorism, which is rapid, gentle, and permanent. Therefore, by the application of homeopathic medicine, he achieved the gentle, very rapid and gentle treatment, but this permanent restoration is still not achieved, and therefore this because of this he become very restless, isn't it? This permanent factor is still not achieved in spite of the best homeopathic prescription. That's why he was very much disappointed. Then this event or this relapsing course of medicine, this intrigued him and made him reflect as to the possible cause of this failure. He started to find out why this failure is, and therefore he considered by meditation he considered the following points for the probable cause that were considered. Number 1, the law of similar might not be universal applicable. Yes, he thought that the law of similar is not universally applicable, but you know the law of similar is nature's law of healing, and therefore in anywhere it is applicable because it is a nature's law. Therefore this some point, the point number 1 is it is explained. Then let us take the second point thought by Dr. Hahnemann. There could be some flaw in the application of law of similar. Yes, while applicating this law of similar, it is the full totalities may not be considered, or the application may be wrong, but it is not possible because the only similitude medicine, that the highest similarity, whenever the highest similarity is established, then only the remedy was selected. Therefore this point is also explained. The number of drugs till date were inadequate to cover all disease. Yes, he thought that the number of drugs are not sufficient for the disease which appeared, but during the course of days, number of medicines were proved, and every day there is a addition of the proved drug in the treasury of Materia Medica. Therefore, this point is also cleared. There would be some error in determining the totality of symptom. Yes, this point is also or the thinking on this point also, the totality is not considered, and it is also get cleared because because he considered that the totality is the only individualization of this person, and this selection is depending on the totality of symptom. Then there might be some obstacle that persisted in the hindered cure. Yes, there may be some obstacle in path of cure, and this point Hahnemann's desire to work on this part of the obstacle, if there is any obstacle in path of cure, isn't it? And therefore Hahnemann, by his reasoning and logic, excluded the other possibilities and conducted that certain obstacles were responsible for the relapses and failure. Yes, he considered only the what is the obstacle. The law of similia is correct, the application of the law is correct, by the further selection of remedy the totality of the symptom get considered, and why, in spite of that, why there is a obstacle in path of cure, why the real cure is not still achieved, he desired to, or he decided to work on this obstacle. Then how this evolution of the concept of chronic disease. So during the year of 1816 to 70, the whole year, day and night, he occupied the study of case. He occupied the study of case histories of the various chronic cases in great depth. He started the analysis of the different cases and specifically chronic disease, and with very deeply he started the study each and every case histories. And after 12 years of studies of various cases and case histories, he had discovered that the symptoms manifesting themselves at any one time were only a portion of the deeply seated fundamental maladies which had not completely cured by best homeopathic remedies, have some connection with a previous outbreak of skin disease, that is each caused by each mite, which might be the underlying root cause and responsible for chronic disease. Yes, by studying the various case histories of chronic disease, he observed that every patient has the history of some skin diseases. Near about 7/8 per patient had the history of the skin eruption, and some patients have the history of suppressive treatment or the suppression of the skin eruption. Some patient received the external ointment or the sulfur, and in their previous history every patient carry some specific past history, isn't it? And from that suppressive treatment or from that suppression of the skin eruption, a very typical type of diseases are developed, isn't it? While some patient have the history of venereal disease also, and he considered this might be the root cause of the disease, because from that beginning of the suppression of the skin disease or the eruptive disease, the diseases develop in a very specific manner, and therefore he thought that whatever is the homeopathic medicine prescribed for the totality of the symptom which exhibited at one time, it may be the part of this underlying disease, and the homeopathic medicine not ability to touch the underlying root cause of the disease. Therefore, the root is as it is, remain as it is, and we only cut the branches of the branches of this plant. We are not hit on the root of the disease, and therefore there is not a permanent cure. Have you got this? And therefore he concluded his study with the conclusion that there is a previous outbreak of skin disease, that is a itch caused by itch mite, which might be the underlying root cause responsible for chronic disease, which pollute the organism and act as an obstacle to cure, and he called it as a chronic miasm. This underlying root cause, he called it is a miasm. A chronic miasm which the body could not throw off spontaneously and unaided, not by careful diet and regimen, but it rather increase in intensity throughout the life of organism and act as an obstacle in path of cure. He concluded that this underlying root cause, it is not thrown off by the body or thrown off by the vital force spontaneously without any aid of medicine. The careful diet and regimen also not suffice to remove them from the organism, while they are going on increase in intensity throughout the life of organism and ends with the life of organism. And whenever the person received the homeopathic treatment, it acts as an obstacle in path of cure, and therefore patient is not able to restore fully and get cured from the chronic disease. It is a conclusion take out from his continuous experimentation on the case study throughout the 12 years, isn't it? And he concluded that miasm is an obnoxious disease producing agent, dynamic in nature and inimical to life. He classified the patient into 3 groups depending upon their starting points of illness. Number 1, first group, which followed initial symptom on skin, that is itch, he termed as sora. The second group, which followed initial symptom on skin, that is the venereal warts, he termed as it is a psychosis miasm. The third group, which followed initial symptom on skin, that is venereal chancre, termed as the syphilis. He founded the theory of miasm and established the doctrine of chronic diseases. Yes, he classified the miasm into 3 groups from the beginning of their or the starting point of their development, and these are termed as the sora, psychosis and syphilis. Let us understand what do you mean by the miasm. The word miasm, the word meaning, it is a stain, pollution, obnoxious influence, effluvia, infective material, or it is a polluted material, also called the putrid organic matter, contagious effluvia from human body, and the constitutional pathology. The various terminology used for the word miasm. Hahnemann used this word miasm for the different denotation and different connotation, that is it is a cause of disease as well as the expression of this underlying root cause, isn't it? It is, what is the concept of miasm in homeopathy? Let us understand. Miasm is a sort of taint or stigma, hereditary or acquired, which lies dormant in human system, is reactivated by circumstantial pathogens, that is exciting and or maintaining cause and bring about disequilibrium in vital force, which is called disease. Yes, it is a miasm is a stigma, which we got hereditary or acquired. It lies dormant in human stage. It is latent in human stage. You can call it the latent sora or latent psychosis or syphilis. But whenever it get excited by the exciting or maintaining cause, this miasm, this fundamental cause of the disease, transferred to the disease. The miasm is the state or condition, or it is a constitutional pathology which pollute the human organism with unhealthy tendencies. Miasm is an invisible, immaterial, dynamic polluting substance. Yes, it is, according to Dr. Hahnemann, miasm is an invisible, immaterial, dynamic polluting substance which pollutes the man as a whole in such a way that it leaves behind a permanent stigma or dyscrasia. Yes, once we get this miasmatic infection, then once it is developed, then it leaves behind a permanent stigma. If not completely eradicated by the specific anti-miasmatic remedy, persists throughout the life of organism with ever increasing suffering and torment the patient until the end of his life and end with the life of organism. Yes, we already learned this aphorism number 78. During the course of time, may be transferred from generation to generation. It is a very characteristic feature. This miasm get transferred from one generation to another generation. Then exposition of this theory of chronic disease. Hahnemann exposed this theory after these 12 years of this incessant experimentation. His new theory of chronic disease or miasm come forth after the publication of his remarkable book, that is a chronic disease, their peculiar nature and their treatment, isn't it? In which was published in 1828, and then the whole world knew about the theory of chronic miasm, or what is the real cause of the chronic disease. In theory, this theory was incorporated in the 4th edition of Organon of Medicine, published in 1829. For the first time, Hahnemann introduced this theory of chronic disease or chronic miasm in 4th edition of Organon of Medicine, isn't it? While in 6th edition, which was translated by Dr. William Boring, in 6th edition, from aphorism number 72 to 82, he described the theory of chronic disease along with the classification of the disease, isn't it? Let us learn the diagrammatic representation of miasm, the concept and classification of miasm. Miasms are dynamic disease producing power which pollute the human organism and produce all the possible diseases. Miasm, it is a Greek word derived from the word miasma, meaning the polluting exhalations and malarial poison, or effluvia arising from bodies of patient. Then the first miasm, the sora. The sora, which derived from Hebrew origin, the original word is sorat, meaning a groove. In picture it is a groove, a fault, pollution or a stigma. Before Hahnemann, why Hahnemann select this word sora for the miasm? The diseases which are originated from the skin eruption and itch, and during the days of Dr. Hahnemann, all the skin diseases are commonly known under the heading of the miasm, called as the soric manifestation, and therefore for each it is a synonymous word is the sora. That's why he selected the term sora for the miasm, isn't it? Before Hahnemann, the word sora referred to the leprous patient and other great plagues. That is, it is what is the dictionary meaning of sora? The dictionary meaning is the itch, mite, and the psoriasis, etc. According to Hahnemann, sora is the most fundamental cause. Yes, it is a fundamental cause or the basic miasm, and without this sora there is no existence of psychosis and syphilis. Therefore, sora is called mother of all type of chronic disease, isn't it? Sora is the most fundamental cause so many chronic maladies. It is the most universal, most destructive, yet most misapprehended chronic miasmatic disease. Yes, you already learned this nature of the sora. It is most misapprehended. That is, the skin disease is never considered as a very deeply rooted disease. Every physician assumes that if he success to remove the skin eruption from the body, the disease will get cured. But it is not happen. This sora is so deeply rooted, and it is a cause of all type of diseases. Therefore, sora is called mother of all type of chronic diseases, or you can say it is a fundamental cause. Without sora there is no psychosis and syphilis. Sora or the itch disease, the oldest hydra-headed monster. 7/8 of all chronic diseases caused by sora, and only 1/8 of the disease syphilis and psychosis. Development of sora. How the sora is developed? The mode of infection. The sora is highly infectious in nature. Most infectious miasm even transferred by even touch and contact of the fluid of skin, and it is very easily transferred from one person to another person by touch, by using same utensil, cloth, and very you can say it is a highly communicable miasm, isn't it? Very easily transferred from one person to another person. The nurse who infected, by carrying this, the nurse is transferred the miasm sora to the baby, or it is a primary manifestation of miasm sora. Then after any person received this infection from one person to another person, then how the development of sora is occur in that person? First, the internal development. After the transmission of sora, there is a internal development. What do you mean by internal development? The touch of fluid to skin, and few days there is no change notice. There is no such eruptive symptom or skin eruption is there, while it received this infection and spread through the local nerve. And final transformation of sora, that is, the whole body is under the influence of miasm sora. Each and every cell of the human organism is under the miasm sora, and after the completion of the his whole infection, there is a first manifestation of the sora and the skin level. On the first time it is just 2 to 4 weeks. It is called the incubation period, and there is a external manifestation of the disease after completion the internal infection. The external manifestation, that in form of primary manifestation, is in a form of vesicular type of eruption. In previous slide it is a vesicular type of eruption is there, with intense itching and itching followed by scratching, and this after scratching these vesicles get ruptured and very thin, watery discharge from these vesicles, isn't it? It is very characteristic primary manifestation of psora. Then whenever this eruption disappear with or without treatment, and psora goes to the phase of latency, and there is a latent manifestation of psora. And whenever whenever the organism is exposed to any exciting cause or maintaining cause, then it will develop into the disease. The primary manifestation of miasm psora. Local symptoms on skin, each vesicles takes place around 6, 7, 10 or even 14 days. Chill and heat alternates in following nights. Vesicle contains leaf and clear fluid. Change to pustule. Itching will be more in the evening and before midnight. As long as vesicle presents secondary elements of psora does not break out. Yes, until and until the primary manifestation at the skin level, there is no internal organ did not get affected and remains safe. Let us learn the miasm psychosis. The psychosis, the same, it is a sexually transmitted disease and get transmitted by the impure caution or sexual intercourse, and it is highly you can say these psychosis called as a gonorrheal miasm also. And after the completion of the incubation period, it is 3 to 4 weeks, and the primary manifestation of the psychosis at the skin level, and the primary manifestation of psychosis in form of condylomatous or cauliflower growth is this type of condylomatous or cauliflower like growth at the perineal area. Then the miasm syphilis, it is also the sexually transmitted miasm, that is the venereal miasm, and the primary manifestation or the transfer of the syphilis from one person to another person through impure caution or the sexual intercourse, and the primary manifestation of the syphilis is in form of a venereal chancre. These chancres are appear at the genital area. Here we finish the theory of chronic disease. Let us understand the very outstanding contribution of Dr. Hahnemann in field of medicine. The physician skilled in anti-miasmatic prescribing dips deeper into the case and applies an agent that has a deeper and closer relationship with the perverted life force. The results are always better. Yes, Hahnemann himself recommended without the application of anti-miasmatic remedy, the chronic disease would not get cured. And for this selection of remedy, you have to study the case very deeply and find out the root cause of the disease, isn't it? Thank you. This is all about the theory of chronic diseases.